Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Caitlin Clark with massive praise for a soccer player. Did I hear that right? Well, this is right into my wheelhouse. My two favorite sports that I supported. For those of you that don't know, I coached youth soccer for about 12 years. Still trained, wrote a couple of training programs and books and the whole 9 yards. So this is kind of cool for me, which is why I wanted to talk about it. Bring a little attention to the U.S. women's national team for the reasons that Caitlin Clark mentions here. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all your support. Do me a favor, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I tell you what, we're going to go backwards into 14.7 long before we hit 15. It is wild. Yeah. So anyway, but I'm hearing that's happened to a lot of people. So we'll keep plugging away and see what happens. I'm afraid to even look at the number now. But anyway, as you can see here from soccer to basketball, Caitlin Clark charts USA Soccer's groundbreaking impact on women's sports. Yeah, and I don't think that gets enough attention. We love to talk about, or the old guard loves to talk about how we have to have this proper respect from the players that came before in the WNBA. Well, the WNBA wouldn't exist without the U.S. women's national soccer team. Okay, we're going to get into that in a minute here. So, yeah, as it says here, Caitlin Clark, one of the most recognizable athletes in the U.S. Her impact on the court grown the popularity of the WNBA 100%. We all know how true that is. And so she's asked about this. I believe was the whole glamour spread in that interview that she did, and of course she talked about her favorite player that we looked up. We all know Maya Moore, and then now, it says her answer shocked many as she mentioned the U.S. women's national team soccer legend. I don't know that it really shocked many, but I understand what they're trying to do here. Caitlin Clark herself was a fantastic soccer player. After everything I've seen from the WNBA, as much as I love watching her play at Iowa, watching her play basketball, the logo threes, the passing, all that, man, sometimes I'm like, "Ah, Caitlin, you should have played soccer. You would have had a warm welcome. They would have loved you. You would have been accepted. We would have had none of the drama what was happening." Here we go. They mentioned Maya Moore. And then she also brought up U.S. women's national team star Mia Hamm. Absolute groundbreaker for those of you that don't know Mia Hamm. She went and played at UNC for Anson Dorrance, who was like the first big, huge women's soccer program. I mean, I think he won like 22 national championships in his first 32 years. He won a couple since then as well. Even though the game's grown, it's gotten a lot more competitive. Not as easy to do now, but she was inspired by, now it says not by Mia Hamm, but of course she was, but absolutely the U.S. women's national team as a whole. For those who don't know the story, and this is why the U.S. has been so dominant on the women's side, is because they've gotten this opportunity, but that doesn't mean it was easy. I think the team was formed in, oh man, I should know this off the top of my head. I want to say 84 or 86. And of course, the conditions they played under, the traveling that they did, and all of that. It was an absolute grind. We went through multiple leagues in the U.S. in terms of a domestic league. Of course, the big groundbreaking thing with this team was the women's national team, because for soccer, it is a much more of a global sport. The whole national team idea and national team competitions is much, much bigger in soccer than it is in other major sports. I mean, we don't even have it in football. We sort of have it in baseball a little bit. Basketball is probably what most people think of with the World Championships and the Olympics, of course. But soccer was the first one. That was really the first, and that U.S. women's national team was really the first huge breakthrough in women's sports, at least women's team sports. Maybe I should put it that way. Women's team sports. The '99 World Cup, which of course wasn't their first World Cup win. They won in '91, the first one, which, yeah, the first Women's World Cup wasn't until '91, but '99, playing in Los Angeles, playing in the Coliseum, playing in front of, I think, 90 plus thousand fans, playing against China, having to go to penalty kicks to be decided, with Brandy Chastain using her weak foot, by the way, her opposite foot, to finish off World Cup victory. I mean, it's iconic. She hits the penalty shot. She takes off her shirt and swirls it around. The team goes running toward her. I mean, everyone knows about that on Sports Illustrated. They still call them the 99ers. They had a reunion not that long ago and did like a mini documentary when they all got back together. It is an absolutely huge story and hugely important in terms of advancing women's sports in general. So it's really cool for Caitlin, for me, for to Caitlin Clark to recognize that and to pay homage to, in here it talks about in the 90s was important for women in general due to the spirit of the team that brought people together. Everyone absolutely loved that team. That is maybe the team, those original players in the 90s, culminating the 91 win, culminating with the 99 win. Um, as Clark says here, what U.S. soccer did for not only female athletes, but women in general, how much they brought people together. That's just been her talking about Mia Hamm, her ability to really inspire people to give back. This high praise of Mia Hamm by Clark suggests how impactful the former U.S. women's national team players are to women athletes like the WNBA stars like Clark today. I don't know how impactful they are to, I don't know how many of the current women in WNBA even recognize them, but yeah, if we're going to go, oh, we got to talk about the players before and respect them, then yeah, the players in the WNBA need to go back and respect the women who got the U.S. women's national team soccer team going and what they went through to put that sport on the map, which did a lot for women's sports in general. Absolutely huge the impact that they had on everyone else. And it's really cool to see Caitlin Clark recognize that. So I'm going to leave it there, man. I just want to talk about that briefly because that's such a big deal for me. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. For those of you that don't know, go check it out. I believe there's even you can probably find it on Amazon. There should be, I believe there's a documentary about that 99 team. If you are a supporter of women's sports in any way, shape, or form, and I'm guessing you are if you're watching this video, that is absolutely something you should check out. Even if you're not a soccer fan, if you are a fan of women's sports, if you support women's sports, you need to check out that documentary. If I think of it before I put this video up, I'll link it, and I'm going to leave it there. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Really do appreciate it. Go have the day you deserve. I'll talk to you later.